Hey everyone, welcome back to Oh Wow, That's Why. So recently, US President Donald Trump announced a shocking plan. He wants to spend $6 million to send criminals from the US to a prison in El Salvador. Why? Because that place is known as one of the scariest prisons in the world, where even the most violent gang members reportedly tremble with fear. So, just how terrifying is it? Let's talk about it today. Trump has already signed an agreement with El Salvador, spending $6 million to outsource incarceration. The plan? Start by sending over 200 Venezuelan immigrants identified as gang members to a facility known as the Terrorism Confinement Center, or CECOT. What's even more shocking is that Trump said he hopes even American citizens who commit crimes could be sent there in the future. Why would he say that? Well, it's probably because this prison has had some pretty insane results. Despite being only a couple of years old, it's already transformed El Salvador from murder capital of the world to the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. But behind this turnaround is a heavy cost. Critics say the prison is infamous for violating international human rights, stripping inmates of dignity, and even declaring, "We don't plan on letting anyone out." Their goal is to make these people disappear from society forever. Why was this prison built in the first place? What's life like inside, and what does the world think about it? Let's break it all down together. CECOT, short for Centro de Confinamiento del Terrorismo, Terrorism Confinement Center, was opened in January 2023 and is currently the largest prison in the Americas. Incredibly, within just 1 year of operation, the number of murders in El Salvador dropped from 6,500 to only 150. According to a Gallup poll, 88% of Salvadorans said they now feel safe, and a whopping 96.4% supported CECOT. The results were so dramatic that President Nayib Bukele, who launched the initiative, won re-election in 2024 with over 80% of the vote. Even illegal immigration to the US from El Salvador dropped by 50% in the first half of 2024 compared to the same time in 2022. Tourism up 22% compared to the previous year. The economy on the rise. But here's what's wild. Just 2 years ago, this kind of peace and growth was unimaginable in El Salvador. El Salvador is a small country in Central America with a population of 6.3 million. For years, it held a terrifying title, the murder capital of the world. Since the 1990s, it's been a gang haven. In 2020, there were around 60,000 gang members, and 400,000 more people were somehow affiliated. Basically, 1 in 10 citizens were gang connected. These gangs didn't mess around. They ran extortion, drug trafficking, even businesses. Some were so powerful they could influence election outcomes. At its worst, El Salvador had a murder happening every hour. In 2019, President Bukele came into power and tried various ways to crack down on crime, but nothing really worked. Then in March 2022, 87 people were murdered in just 3 days, setting a horrifying new record. That's when the government snapped. They declared a national emergency, suspended parts of the Constitution, and launched a massive crackdown. By the end of 2022, they had arrested over 78,000 people. And to lock them all up? Bukele ordered the construction of a mega prison like no other. CECOT cost $100 million and was built in just 7 months. It has 8 cell blocks with space for 40,000 inmates, roughly the size of 7 football fields. Now check this out. It's built with 3 layers of security. Physical barriers, 9-meter-high concrete walls topped with razor wire and 15,000-volt electric fences. The outdoor ground, covered in gravel so every step makes noise. Firepower. Over 600 soldiers and 250 armed guards patrol the place. They've got motorcycles, drones, helicopters, and 19 watchtowers, each with snipers on standby. Technology. Every inmate goes through x-rays, facial scans, iris scans, you name it. Every cell is monitored by 24/7 cameras. And just to be extra safe, they spent another $10 million on a signal jammer. Inside CECOT, your phone turns into a brick. No Wi-Fi, no communication. The goal, not just to prevent escape, but to erase any hope of escaping. These are the most dangerous criminals, they say. When BBC reporters visited, prison guards warned them not to make eye contact with inmates. Why? Because many of them are former gang bosses and killers, some serving hundreds of years in prison. Besides gangsters, there are also rapists, kidnappers, terrorists, and those with mental illness. But here's the controversial part. A lot of people inside might be innocent. Because during the emergency crackdown, people were arrested just for living in gang-heavy areas, having tattoos, or graffiti on their walls. And with tens of thousands arrested so quickly, the courts couldn't keep up. Many were rushed through the system with no real chance to prove their innocence. Even the 200+ Venezuelans recently sent in by Trump. Some had no criminal record, just tattoos or gang-like clothing. But whether guilty or not, once you're in CECOT, it's a living hell. There are three main criticisms of CECOT. 1. Horrible living conditions. Cells built for 80 are now holding up to 150 inmates. No windows, no fans. In summer, temps hit over 35 degrees Celsius. Each cell only has 2 squat toilets, 0 privacy. They sleep on metal bed frames, no mattress, blanket, or pillow. They eat basic rice, beans, noodles, or eggs. No meat or vegetables and no utensils. Water from a concrete basin by the toilet, also used for bathing and washing clothes. 2. No freedom, no dignity. Prisoners can't make eye contact or speak to guards. They get only 30 minutes of corridor time per day, no outdoor access. Even at night, the lights stay on 24/7. Family, no letters, no visits. 3. Harsh surveillance and punishment. The ceiling is a metal grid so guards can look down on inmates like animals in a zoo. Break the rules? You go to solitary confinement in near complete darkness, up to 15 days. Human rights groups warn that this does nothing to rehabilitate and may even worsen mental health. These conditions can lead to widespread health problems. Crowded, dirty environments can spread disease. Lack of sleep and stimulation can cause anxiety, depression, insomnia, and psychosis. Stripping inmates of humanity could make them more violent, less empathetic, and less likely to reintegrate. And without access to education, therapy, or job training, experts fear many will return to crime if they ever get out. Human rights groups argue El Salvador has just replaced gang violence with state violence. President Bukele? He doesn't care what outsiders think. He says international human rights rules don't apply to El Salvador. To him, public safety comes first, not criminal rights. He calls CECOT a massive victory, a key to El Salvador's transformation. Need more space? He'll just build another one. Other countries in Latin America, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, are now considering similar prisons. In fact, Ecuador and Honduras have already said, we're doing this too. Honestly, this topic left us with mixed feelings. We totally get it. When a country is completely overrun by gangs, when people can't even walk safely on the streets, it makes sense that they'd support any solution that works. And let's be real, locking up the bad guys hard and fast feels like the most straightforward solution when resources are tight. But if a safe society is built on brutal, inhumane conditions, and if some inmates aren't even guilty, can that safety really last? As of 2024, El Salvador has 1,659 prisoners per 100,000 people, the highest incarceration rate in the world, more than double Cuba's. We wonder, if all the money goes into jails and crackdowns, what's left for education, justice reform, or social support? When people lack education, they struggle to build a stable life. When the system feels unfair, people stop trusting it. And when there's no support, those who want a second chance might never get one. Without addressing the root causes, can we ever break the cycle of crime? We're not experts in criminal justice, but if you've got a different opinion, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Do you support using high incarceration rates to make society safer, like in El Salvador? Let us know what you think. And if you found today's video interesting, please share it so more people can learn about CECOT. Thanks for watching. Oh wow, that's why. We'll see you next time.